Always ask a single mother this before you commit. Let's be real for a moment. This isn't about being insensitive. It's about being intentional. If you're a man considering building something serious with a single mother, one question you must have the courage to ask, and she must have the emotional maturity to answer, is this: how are your kids going to be an asset to me if I choose to build life with you? Now, on the surface, that question might sound selfish or even harsh, but it's not. It's actually one of the most honest and practical conversations you can have. Because here's the truth most men are too afraid to say out loud. When a man steps into a relationship with a woman who has children, he's not just dating her. He's stepping into a dynamic that already exists. He's being asked to invest emotionally, mentally, sometimes financially, into a life he didn't create. That's not easy. That's not light. That's not just love. It's leadership, responsibility, and self-awareness on a whole new level. So the question is valid. How do her kids become part of a life that works with you, not just around you or against you? If I'm dating you, if I'm marrying you, how are your kids going to be an asset to my life, not just a responsibility? Now, that's a heavy question. It's not politically correct. It might make her pause, but it cuts through the fog of fantasy and gets to the core of compatibility. Because here's the reality. A lot of men walk into relationships with single mothers under the pressure to prove they're strong enough to carry the load. Financially, emotionally, even parentally. They get guilt-tricked into playing hero while silencing their own needs, and eventually they wake up resentful, unseen, and drained. Not because they were with a bad woman, but because they never asked the hard questions. So what does this question really mean? It means, what kind of culture are you raising in your home? It means, am I walking into chaos masked as love? It means, will your kids respect me, or will I always feel like an outsider in my own house? It's asking, will your children add value to the home we're building? Will they be raised with discipline, manners, and a sense of contribution? Do they know how to respect a man's leadership, or will I be expected to father without authority? Because any man who commits to a woman with children is not just choosing her, he's choosing a family unit. And if that unit is broken, directionless, or built on entitlement rather than accountability, you're not signing up for love. You're signing up for sacrifice without return. Mature love requires mutual investment. Let's be clear. This isn't about demanding that her children call you dad or expecting instant submission to your role in their lives. This is deeper. This is about emotional maturity and shared vision. If you're going to invest your time, your energy, your love into a woman who already has a family structure in motion, it's fair and necessary to ask how your presence will be integrated with respect and intention, not out of entitlement, but out of wisdom. Mature love isn't one-sided. It's not just you adapting to her world while she makes no room for yours. She doesn't have to have it all figured out, but she should have thought about it. She should be able to articulate, with grace and clarity, how she envisions that integration, not perfectly, but purposefully. And if a simple, honest question, like how does your life make room for the man you're inviting in, triggers defensiveness instead of reflection, that tells you everything. Real partnership requires mutual investment, not just emotionally, but practically. Because if she's asking you to show up fully while offering you no seat at the table, she's not looking for a man. She's looking for a placeholder. Don't be that. But let's flip it. There are single mothers out there who are doing it right. Women who are raising emotionally intelligent, respectful, grounded kids. Kids who know what boundaries look like, who aren't spoiled or weaponized against every man who enters the picture. And when you meet a woman like that, you can feel the difference. Her kids don't become burdens. They become a reflection of her character. They become evidence that she doesn't just want love, she's ready for partnership. So this question, it's not an attack. It's a filter, a mirror, a way to understand whether the life you're potentially walking into is going to elevate you or empty you. Because here's the truth most men ignore. Just because a woman is beautiful, loyal, or loving doesn't mean the life she's inviting you into is healthy. And if you don't ask the hard questions early, love won't save you later. So if you're a mature man, grounded in your values, serious about your future, and unwilling to settle for a life of quiet resentment, ask her. With compassion, not arrogance. If I choose you, if I step into this life with you, How are your kids going to be an asset to our relationship? Not because you're demanding perfection, but because you're demanding clarity. Because when you bring structure, presence, and purpose into someone else's world, you have the right to know if it's a world worth stepping into. Love her, yes, but never lose your clarity in the process. It's easy to get caught up in the emotion of it all, especially when you're dealing with a woman who seems strong, nurturing, and worthy of the love you've been waiting to give. But here's the truth every mature man must hold on to. Love is not a substitute for clarity. You can love her and still ask the tough questions. You can care for her deeply and still protect your peace. Mature love doesn't shy away from reality. It confronts it with grace and discernment. If you're going to step into her life, especially as a man entering a family dynamic that already exists, you need vision, not just chemistry. Ask yourself, is she transparent about what she expects from you? Is there room for your identity, your influence, your values, or is everything already set in stone? Because the second you start silencing your questions just to keep the peace, you're not in love, you're in denial. And that's a recipe for quiet resentment. Love her, yes, but love yourself enough to ask, is this built on compatibility or just emotion? Because real love, the kind that lasts, invites honesty, embraces structure, and welcomes clarity. Anything less is just temporary comfort in disguise. Conclusion. Look, every man has the right to protect his peace, to ask questions that safeguard his future. And if you're stepping into a woman's world where children are involved, you better be clear on what that world looks like. Asking how her kids will be an asset isn't cruel, it's conscious. Because love without alignment leads to sacrifice without reward. So let's talk. What do you think about this question? Drop a comment below and let's have a real, grown man conversation. If this message hit home for you, hit that like button. It helps more men find this truth. And if you're tired of surface-level content and ready to move through relationships with clarity and purpose, subscribe. I drop content every week that sharpens your mindset, protects your energy, and helps you lead with power, not desperation. Stay grounded, stay rare, and never apologize for protecting your future. I'll see you in the next one.